he'll never be able to get back because of the time he spent with us. Mack, we appreciate your support from the time we launched this in April of 2020. How you do? I know it's not been a great week. How you doing?
I'm doing well. So, and it's been an honor and a privilege to be part of it. And even though there've been some days that you haven't necessarily wanted me on, but nonetheless, I'm happy to be on. So, but no, appreciate you guys, and I always look forward to Tuesday afternoon.
Well, thank you. We appreciate your time and access as well. Was there a part of you Sunday evening or waking up Monday morning when you kind of looked around like that picture of Will Smith in an empty house, even though there's still a lot going on, going, wait a minute, what happened here?
Yeah, both of those, both games, stung. As you would expect. You think about the men's game, and I think we were down 25 with 10:04, 10:08. I don't remember the exact time left, and to be able to just come back and get it to overtime, right? You think that once you get it to overtime, you've got the opportunity to win it, and it almost just feels cruel emotionally to go through all of that and still come up, on the wrong end of it. And then, the women, Sunday night, and again, just, had spurts where you thought you were going to, get it close, get it down to 5 or 4 and make it really, really close at the end, and just could never get there. And so that was obviously a battle, but, nonetheless, I'm proud, and, I know it's easy to say that, but I'm really proud of both programs. I had, several people text me and check up on me and make sure I was doing okay, and those people know who they are, and I certainly appreciate those text messages and reaching out. But I responded. I was blessed and fortunate enough to be in the locker rooms of with both programs after a really difficult loss for each, and just the way that both Scott and Nikki handled it with the team, with the staff. The things that were said, the culture that was in that locker room, the love and care for each other. It was, I don't know, it just gave me a great sense of peace. And it just reaffirmed for me that, man, both programs are in such great shape, and they're going to be nationally relevant for years and years to come. And so just really, really, really proud. And I know the disappointment we all have, and it's, difficult to deal with, but there's also that peace knowing that, hey, it's not going to be the last time either one of those programs compete for a national championship.
Mack, your thought? Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Your thoughts on Jerome Tang? It's got to be, I would assume, the ultimate level of bittersweet, in that here is someone who has by far earned a head coaching job at the Division I level, and when he finally takes one, you're going to see him at least twice a year, potentially 3 or 4 times a year.
Yeah, so, again, as you can imagine, right, I think we all are. The entire Baylor family is so happy for Jerome and proud for him, and again, happy for Pim and Ray and Seven and Island, and so well deserved. And I'm going to be excited to see him in that role, his own program. I think I'm going to start writing in coaches' contracts that they cannot be head coaches in our own. Man. To have Joey that we're going to have to now compete against, and now Jerome. But hey, that's the ultimate compliment to our athletics program and to certainly football and men's basketball. But yeah, I'm just happy for him, and he's going to surround himself. Jerome gets it and understands it. He's going to surround himself with some great people, and I know some of the staff members that are people that will be joining him, and he's going to be off and running, and he's going to do a great job at K-State, and they'll be in postseason with him as their head coach.
So, Mack, you guys a couple years ago, maybe a little bit further back, you guys were clearly the part of the Hunters. I mean, there was some success, women's basketball, men's basketball, but I mean, really the last couple years you guys have become the Hunted, and what you're doing is attractive to other schools. Like you mentioned, Tech wants to come get Joey McGuire, Kansas State wants to come get Jerome Tang, and I'm sure there's been other conversations. How do you guys keep this identity that you've created, but continue to also evolve it? And how much of a battle is that? And also, not have it as simply as somebody can just copy and paste what you guys do by hiring a coach or having a catchphrase or whatever. How do you guys keep evolving and keeping it specifically, individually, your Baylor identity?
Yeah, it's a great question, Craig. And I think we talked about it a little bit last time, but I think it starts with our culture and just being really, really intentional about it. And it's something that you have to work on every day. And it takes a lot of conversations, sometimes some difficult or crucial conversation, but it's always in progress, always in process. It's this idea of having a constant feedback with your colleagues, with your student athletes, and so that's a big part of it. And then I think remaining humble and almost having the mentality, Craig, that we've not done anything. I get that we've been really, really successful the last 2 years, but I think we need to treat it that we're still chasing, and I think as long as we have that mentality that we're still chasing, we're not at the mountaintop, but we're still climbing and fighting, scratching, and clawing. I think we'll continue to be relevant, and I think the great coaches, doesn't matter how many national championships they've won, they find a way to continue to do that, and we as an athletic department need to make sure that we continue to do that, and that all of our coaches and student athlete staff, we all understand that. And, and that's hard because I think sometimes when you do that, you forego celebration and enjoying the moment and maybe the accomplishment. And so, trying to balance that, just to be really, really frank, is really difficult to do. And I don't know that we do a great job of the celebration piece, and that's probably on me, because I think we're always in this mode of trying to chase and evolve and always be better. And I believe that we can always be better, always.
What is easier, getting to at least? They say that the term is not so much the top of the mountain. You did in men's basketball, and of course, women have had their history as well among some other sports or athletic events you have. But what is easier in your opinion? You ever thought about, is it easier to get there, or is it harder to get there, or harder to stay there? I appreciate the question, and it's one that has been asked a lot, and I think probably most would say it's harder to stay there. I would just say both are dang hard. They really are. And I think quite frankly, they require the same mindset. And again,
while you're trying to get there, right, you're chasing, you're fighting, scratching, clawing, you're adjusting, tweaking. But I think once you get there, you have to have that same exact mentality. Because I believe if you don't, you're going to end up getting caught. Somebody's going to end up chasing you down. And then I think where it gets really, really hard is if you get chased down, how do you then, chase back and get ahead? And so, we're always gonna treat it that there's just so much more out there for us, and that we're gonna continue to chase and act and perform and behave like we've never reached the top.
Baylor Baylor Athletic Director Mack Rhoades with us on Sic'Em 365 Radio. Mack, spring drills have begun. Speaking of getting to the top or getting where you were, winning the Big 12 title and also the Sugar Bowl as well, a couple of different coaching changes, always competition at various positions. How about the timing of, especially after the weekend you had, that spring drills comes up that kind of gives some life back into what other was a tough couple of days?
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. I appreciate you framing it that way, because it's great medicine. I'm sitting here in my office and I'm looking out the window over the practice fields and I'm watching the team out there going through a variety of drills and the whistles are blowing and you can hear the coaches. I'm not going to say yelling and screaming, but talking loudly. And so it's good medicine to see that. And, I'll be able to get on out to more of the spring competition, which is awesome as well to be able to watch baseball and softball and, acrobatics and tumbling and track and field. We'll have certainly a couple of home events, and so looking forward to all of that. But it's great to see football out there and beginning spring practice.
Going back to what you were discussing with Jerome Tang, did I hear you say of some who might be going with him? Is that something that is known yet?
Yeah, I appreciate you seeking clarity. I don't know that anybody from our staff will join him. I think that still remains to be seen. My gut is that probably not, and if so, maybe a person. But I was speaking more about just coaches from other programs that I know are going to join him, and I know a couple of them at least, and I just know those are really good people, and he's putting together a staff that I think is going to be really, really good, and I'm happy for him. I'm happy that he's able to go out and do that, and that's certainly part Kansas State and resources, but it's more about Jerome Tang, the person, and people believing in him and wanting to work for him or with him.
How about Kelvin Sampson, back to the Sweet 16, someone that you believed in after he had been through some tumultuous times, and last year, a Final Four, lost to Baylor in the semis up in Indianapolis, but here he is again with a roster he himself had that was depleted.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't surprise me, and when we talk about that mentality, always chasing, never taking the foot off the gas pedal. That's Kelvin, and that's why they've been consistently successful. I think he's as good as there is. And I mean this in all sincerity. If I had to rank coaches in this country, Scott Drew would be number one and Kelvin Sampson would be number two. And those are, Scott is the best of the best, and Kelvin's, right there behind him. And I'm happy for Kelvin, and certainly happy for Houston.
We asked you about divisions in the Big 12. Once it becomes whatever it's going to be, whether it includes Texas and Oklahoma with the new four, when that happens, perhaps by 2023. And we know Brigham Young will join at that particular time, maybe the others. Has there been any at all? Anyone put down this would be you've discussed whether you like divisions or not, and that kind of is up in the air. Has there been any discussion about if there are divisions, this is what they'll be?
That's a great question. And, we certainly have circulated some different ideas and how you could break it up into divisions and what institutions would be in what divisions. And so, I think, we'll probably get to a place in time where we have some formality and I don't know, a public announcement, but sometime later in the spring, I would guess. So it's still a work in progress, and I know you all understand it's not anything that we're going to discuss publicly yet, because again, it's still a work in progress and still, different ideas circulating and analysis to follow.
Mack, thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Go Scouts Blake Shapen and Gary Bohannon in that quarterback room as well.
Oh, believe me, that's where I'm headed. So,
thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Mack Rhoades, Baylor's director of athletics. And so, Craig, you had mentioned something about the possibility of divisions, whether there's anything that's on paper, doesn't appear to be, but obviously they at least have to discuss